Okay. Welcome to the Boys Sports Talk, everyone. Today we got college bowl games for you. We got Van and Cena. All right, we're only going to talk about the top five bowl games happening. We have Oklahoma State and Miami playing right now. Oklahoma State's winning. I don't have much to say on Oklahoma and Miami. So, Cena, you take it.
So right now, Oklahoma State came out hot to start off the game, and Miami has now crawled their way back into the game. They're down by 2 right now. Derek King, the Miami quarterback, did get injured, so they're playing with their backup quarterback right now. So far, I got Oklahoma State. I think they're going to hold on to win this game.
I mean, good thing for Miami that King already said he's coming back to Miami next year.
Yeah, going to give them a lot of help going forward, even though they're losing some of their top receivers to the draft this year, though.
All right, before we get into the other bowl games, I got to say I don't like the bowl games this year. There's no reason that some of these teams should be playing each other. Appalachian State should not have been playing Texas, BYU, UCF should have been playing, Georgia Southern, Louisiana Tech, Mississippi, Memphis, FAU. I don't understand how all these teams are playing each other. And then also you have top 25 teams playing against non-ranked teams. Some are even have a losing record, and you have them playing against a top 25 team. I don't know how the committee and the NCAA and all the bowl game sponsors put together these bowl games, but definitely don't like the matchups this year. For example, we have number 15 Iowa playing unranked Missouri, number 24 Tulsa playing 3-7 Mississippi State. Like, how did they even come up with these games?
I agree with you 100% there. I don't know what the committee was thinking about these matchups, but they're not good. And maybe that's just to blame for this whole season just kind of being all over the place. So,
yeah. All right, but we do.
Yeah, I really don't understand how they select the teams. Like, I do know like some bowl games is like, this will be an SEC versus a Pac-12 team. Stuff like that. That's already been determined, but I don't know how they select the teams to represent that conference in that bowl game. But yeah, like I said, the whole 2020 year has been up and down, so they're probably just trying to find teams to plug in there to get the games played.
I mean, that is how it is. If you're not part of the 2 bowl games that are part of the college football playoffs, you do have a set criteria about this conference is going to be playing this conference, or like with Cincinnati in the Peach Bowl, or even the Cotton Bowl. It determines like you have to be a conference champion that didn't get into the playoffs to come here. But I mean, if you want the bowl games to matter at least a little bit, because no one really cares about the bowl games, and we've seen that plenty of times where teams have just gone to a bowl game and not really cared about it. If you want these games to matter, at least make them interesting and have teams that should be playing against each other play against each other. Who wants to watch number 15 play against an unranked team? Put number 15 and 16 against each other. Put 15 and 20 against each other.
But also like Cena mentioned, they had a lot of teams also opt out of bowl games, so that kind of also affected some of these matchups that we're seeing right now. So it's kind of hard. I don't blame it all on the committee, with the situation that they're dealing with some teams not playing a full slate of games and then some teams opting out that did play a full slate of games. It's kind of just a weird season for every team and the committee to try to, figure out these matchups. So hopefully next year, things be a bit more different and they'll be back to more normal.
All right. So our first major bowl game is the Cotton Bowl. We have number 7 Florida against number 6 Oklahoma. Both of these teams are extremely good, but I think Florida is the better team out of both of them. Florida was in consideration for going to the playoffs. They just had to beat Alabama, and they fell 6 points short of that. Oklahoma was also considered a little bit. They finished before the Big 12 championship, they were number 10. Now they moved up to number 6 afterwards. I do think Oklahoma is a good team. They have a freshman quarterback leading them, Spencer Rattler. Leading them, you have Heisman candidate and Kyle Trask leading Florida. And Rattler in a couple years, maybe next year, maybe his junior year, he'll be considered for the Heisman. Oklahoma is known for developing Heisman caliber quarterbacks. The last couple of years, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield.
Was Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts was developed at Alabama.
But he went to Oklahoma, and that's when he had a pretty good season, and a lot of people had hype for him. You know, he made it to the playoffs, went up against LSU, and a lot of people had hope for him, maybe, you know, having a Heisman chance. I think he was in the finalists that year. He obviously didn't win it, but
Jalen Hurts was Alabama or Clemson?
He was Oklahoma.
No, before that.
Yeah, he was Alabama. He was on Alabama. He was a freshman there. He won the national championship.
Oh, yeah, he lost his job to Tua.
He did. And then his sophomore year, he went to the championship, started against Georgia, got benched, I think, at halftime or in the third quarter. Tua came in, took over, and then he transferred out and went to Oklahoma. And then he waited. He kind of like in that little middle period between Kyler Murray leaving and him coming in. So, and then he took over that following year and brought Oklahoma to the Final Four. So,
okay. Yeah, we know Florida's offense is extremely good. So is Oklahoma's. They both average around the same amount of points. But Florida's defense does kind of give up a lot. Like they gave up 35 points to Arkansas, and never giving up 35 points to Arkansas is good. But I do think this game will be a blowout. Florida has a lot to play for. Kyle Trask is going to be declaring for the NFL draft. Tooney, their leading receiver, is going to be declaring for the NFL draft. Their two running backs are both juniors, so they most likely will come back because they didn't put up that big of a year. But they do have a lot of juniors and seniors that are possibly going to the NFL or just leaving. So I think Florida has a lot to play for, and I do think it's going to be a blowout in favor of Florida.
Yeah, I expect a shootout between these two teams. Both known for high offenses. I checked earlier today. I don't know if the line has moved yet, but Oklahoma earlier today when I checked was a 3-point favorite. So I'm expecting a shootout, very close game.
Really?
I got Florida pulling off the win here.
Right now they're 3.5 points.
I expect Florida. I expect both offenses to come out hot. I just expect the Gators to have that more dominating, consistency throughout the whole 4 quarters of consistent offense. I can see the Oklahoma offense getting slowed down a bit by the Gators defense. I also expect, like you said, a lot of seniors and juniors, final game possibly, they're going to want to go out, with a bang. This is a good shot for them to maybe move up on some draft boards, get some more NFL scouts looking their way. So I think a lot of them are going to have a big game. I think Florida's going to win it.
Yeah, I think the only way this will be a blowout is because unlike Iowa State, who is a running team, Florida is a passing team. So Florida is going to be able to score a lot of points, which will give Oklahoma's offense also a lot of chances to score. So that'd be it. They're not going to get stuck on the sideline waiting for their defense to stop a run game, because their defense is going to be giving up a lot of points through the air this weekend. We got the Peach Bowl. We got number 6 Georgia against number 8 Cincinnati. Both of these teams love to run, which contributes to both teams only giving up less than 20 points a game. I was very high on Cincinnati. I thought that they should have been considered for a playoff spot, but after losing to Tulsa, It didn't sit well with me. It didn't sit well with anyone. I think Cincinnati had a chance, but they blew it themselves by having that bad game against against Tulsa. I think this is where Cincinnati's winning streak comes to an end.
It already came to an end. But yeah, I think
Cincinnati never lost.
I'm talking about dealing with against Tulsa, like just that close game. Like they really didn't get that running game going too well in there, and then I think Georgia, like you said, it seemed like they were going to be more of a playoff team. At that spot, they were sitting at I think number 8 or number 9 in the seedings before that final week of championship football, and then I think Georgia kind of proved to be a more playoff ready team. Obviously they didn't make it, but I think going into this matchup, Georgia is going to show to be that more playoff caliber team than Cincinnati is. And I think Georgia is going to be able to stop Cincinnati's run game and also be able to run the ball pretty well themselves.
Yeah, and Georgia is a very young team. A lot of their starters are sophomores and juniors who are all going to come back next year. They didn't have any top level talent that's going to be declaring for draft unless they're a senior or you might have 1 or 2 juniors declare for draft for Georgia, but mostly they're a very young team. So I feel like their coach should take this opportunity to get some experience underneath their belt and show them this is what a high level game is. That way next year when they compete again, they'll know they have already been in that situation that they beat a top 10 team.
Yeah, I got Georgia winning this game. I think Georgia as a program has more experience in these kind of bowl games than Cincinnati. Obviously, Kirby Smart with his experience as the defense coordinator at Alabama and then as the head coach at Georgia. So I think Georgia will have the advantage here in bowl game experience, and they will pull out the win.
We got to hurry up because apparently I can't record more than 40 minutes. Then we got the Fiesta Bowl, number 25 Oregon versus number 10 Iowa State. I called Oregon beating USC last week in their Pac-12 championship game, even though it wasn't a popular choice among the members of the Bois Sports Talk. It's well known that the Pac-12 is the worst conference in the Power 5. They shouldn't even be considered a Power 5 conference at this point. Iowa State is a better team than USC. I think Hall and Purdy is going to put up a clinic against this Oregon team and finish what they did all year. Also, just like Georgia, Purdy and Hall are both young underclassmen, so they can use this as experience for next year also and continue to build on what they have done all year.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about that game. I don't know. Cena, do you have anything to say?
I have really nothing to say, really. I have no input.
All right, we have the Orange Bowl, number 5 Texas A&M versus number 13 North Carolina. Both of these teams are really good. I think the popular choice here is going to be Texas A&M. However, I think the players believe that they belong in the playoffs, and they're not going to give it their all in the Orange Bowl. I don't think Mon is a really good quarterback. So I think he needs to be very focused in order to win this game. However, I think Howell and UNC's two-headed workhorse running backs are going to put up some serious points against the SEC's best defense.
I think North Carolina going up against Texas A&M. I think, like you said, Texas A&M, they was right there. They believe that they should have got that number 4 spot over Notre Dame, especially after the Notre Dame loss to Clemson. But I think it's going to be a good game still. I don't think Texas A&M is going to give one up here to to North Carolina. They're playing for that, seeding position, coming into the early rankings next season. So a win here is going to definitely keep them high up on the rankings board. I think they're still going to give it. They're all out there. But it's still going to be a pretty close game. I think North Carolina is going to play it pretty well out there. They're looking to boost up their rankings as well going into next season.
Yeah, I got A&M. I expect North Carolina to play it very close. For most of the game, I think A&M will start to pull away from the game and will come out with a win.
All right, the first bowl game of the playoffs is the Rose Bowl, which is going to take place right here in Dallas against number 1 Alabama against number 4 Notre Dame. It's very clear that Alabama is the best team coming into the playoffs. They put up 50 points a game, only give up 20 points a game. And giving up 20 points a game when your defense is always on the field because no defense can stop your offense, 20 points is really good. So I don't think that Ian Book and his offense of Notre Dame is going to be able to match the scoring of Alabama's. I think they're going to get stopped, and I think it's going to be back-to-back blowouts for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I expect Bama to no doubt in my mind will win this game. But one thing I do want to see if you're Notre Dame, I want you to attack on defense. The side that Landon Dickerson will normally fill in because Landon Dickerson will be out for Bama with that injury he sustained in the SEC championship. So I want to see Notre Dame's defense to attack that side where he normally will be and see if they get pressure on Matt Jones. But I think Bama will come out with a win easily.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Chip Kelly, is trying to, boost up the ratings for this game by making it sound that Notre Dame, and has always been in, the top rankings. They've always been playing well and been in the Final Four a few times now. But, they just have never, out of all the times that they've been in the Final Four or even been close to it, they never finished the job or capitalized on their positions. Because they just can't really compete against these high-level schools that are always dominating year in and year out, like Bama, Clemson, LSU, Georgia, teams like them are always up there constantly, and they're always playing and winning big. I think it's going to be another blowout. Notre Dame, maybe if they can get some pressure on Mac Jones, can kind of slow down the offense, but they won't be able. I don't think they'll be able to consistently stop that Alabama offense. And once they get going, I expect a big game for Devontae Smith. You want to talk about a guy that maybe might be a Heisman finalist here and have a chance at the award. He may put up some big numbers here with maybe probably over, I'll say, possibly 200 receiving yards and maybe even 3 to 4 touchdowns. So.
All right, man. Just keep talking about the playoffs with number 2 Clemson versus number 3 Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, I think Clemson is they've been playing really well. They just dominated Notre Dame. Like we saw, Trevor Lawrence being out there definitely made a big difference in that game. Like a lot of people thought he would. Pretty much he secured his, spot for being like the number 1 draft pick going into this year's draft over Justin Fields. I think like Dabo Swinney said, you look at his rankings, he believes Ohio State to be ranked number 11, a team that doesn't play a full slate of 13 games, and, to win the championship, but only, plays a smaller schedule, shouldn't be ranked where they're at. You can disagree or agree with them, but, the committee, gave them the game they played and they are where they are right now. But based off of watching what Ohio State has done in the past few games, struggled with Indiana, some struggles last week in the championship game against Northwestern. Justin Fields, he looks better, but just that team, is missing a lot on their defense, and their offense isn't playing as, high motor as it was last season. So I think Clemson, it won't be like a blowout win, but I think Clemson will still dominate. I'll say like 14 plus points. Clemson wins this game against Ohio State.
Cena?
Yep, I got Clemson winning. Justin Fields cannot afford to struggle like he did against Northwestern. If he does struggle, Clemson's defense is gonna see it, attack it early, and give Trevor Lawrence and that offense many opportunities to put the game away. So I got Clemson.
Yeah, Justin Fields, if he struggles like he did against Northwestern, Clemson's going to definitely win this game. Clemson, what caused Northwestern to lose was that their offense couldn't score. Their defense played extremely well. Their offense did not. So if Ohio State struggles like that, they're going to lose because they're not going to be able to match Clemson's points. But I really want to say Clemson's going to win here, but I don't think they are. I really hope Clemson wins, but I think Ohio State's going to take it.
You want to make that your drink lock of the week?
I will make that my drink lock of the week. Ohio State over Clemson. I 100% believe that Clemson is the second best team in the playoffs. However, I think Ohio State is just going to be a lot fresher, and they're going to – I don't think they're going to let what happened to them against Northwestern going to happen again. They're playing a way better team, but I don't know. I really hope Clemson wins, but I think Ohio State takes this. They played 5 less games than Clemson.
It's going to be interesting to see. We'll find out pretty soon.